You know?
Yeah, whoever is here, you're awesome.
Is anybody here?
Oh wait, this is the actor panel. So, we are military bronies, and we do our thing. He is with
My name is Tori Evans. I'm the lead spokesperson for the Houston Bronies, as well as one of the founding members of Semper Filly. But it was actually made by Matt Czech, and he's not here right now. But
he is here at this convention, though.
Yes. Well, we can talk about your group, but there were public military brony stuff out there. Like there's a page on Facebook, military bronies, and we wanted a private group. We wanted something that was military. We wanted something that was military only, because on the internet.
You can speak.
Yes. On the internet, you do have to kind of watch yourself, because a lot of guys who are still in, they could get in trouble, especially with all this My Little Pony stuff was still like up in the air. So we wanted a private Facebook group that was military only, no civilians. I love the support and stuff, but we just wanted something where we could kind of swear or curse or whatever and be relaxed. And so we made like this little group from Semper Filly, and that's what's sponsoring this panel. It was Semper Filly, but we also have some other big names here as well.
By the way, the views and opinions expressed in this panel are in no way representative of the United States Armed Forces, the United States Air Force, the United States Army, the United States Marine Corps, the United States Navy, the United States Coast Guard. These are our own opinions and viewpoints. And now that the disclaimer's out of the way, hello, I'm Edmund Saber from the Military Bronies Facebook page. I'm also, a member of Pop Equestria. That's his chick.
Yes,
but no, I'm Edmund Saber. Our mission, I suppose, is to gather all the military bronies and just have a fun page where we can just chat and post a military pony art, I guess. We have other admins. We have Z Out, Track Beam, Bolt Catch, and Alpha, yeah. So I'm a private first class in the 101st Airborne Division, and that's enough about military bronies. I'll pass it over to Spangle so you can talk about it.
All right, so I am Spangle from Bob Equestria, Board Operating Base Equestria, and our group was formed about almost a year ago now, pretty much almost immediately after BronyCon, and I'm not one of the founding members, but I am one of the head staff members. We have quite a few people who we've been bringing on staff, and our goal is kind of to we have a mission statement on our website that pretty much is saying, yes, because that's the thing for the military, mission statements. And it pretty much says we're trying to kind of dispel this, on the civilian side, this idea that, military is all this crush, kill, destroy, let's go get those bad guys, swag, thank you. And we want to show that, military members are kind of, even though we're a little bit different, having gone through basic and stuff, we still enjoy things like My Little Pony, and not only that, it's not all too weird when you take into account things like the values that the military has, such as integrity, service, and so on and so forth. And you look at the show, it's like, well, integrity, that's clearly honesty. Service before self, and that stuff is generosity.
Duty and loyalty.
Yeah, and loyalty is, just like plain, right there. So we were kind of formed ourselves trying to more or less represent military bronies. Not only that, we have forums where we're trying to bring together military bronies where they can talk about meetups and whatever. And we also have things like a Steam group, a TeamSpeak server, DeviantArt. So we were trying to just help the military bronies kind of form themselves. We're not trying to isolate ourselves from the brony community, but we're trying to find, just make other military bronies feel comfortable saying, hey, there's these other guys out there that are just like me. So we have a question?
Yeah, when you say military bronies, you mean specifically United States? Because
No. Bob Equestria isn't even multinational. Okay. We have Canadian bronies, we have British bronies, we have bronies from around the world. Actually, one of our head staff members, one of our original founders, is part of the Norwegian military. So he'll actually be at BronyCon with most of our staff. We have a big presence planned now. Bob Equestria also tries to do press coverage where we can, which is kind of why we're here. We're going to be trying to get interviews. That's another thing we try to bring to our viewers. We try to bring a military perspective to the community, and kind of like what Military Bronies does, will be featuring ponies with guns and other stuff on our website. We'll bring attention to things that are specifically military. I'm personally head of the literature division, which means mostly fanfics. And so we a lot of the times are doing reviews on fan fiction that is military focused. Not exclusively, of course, but just trying to bring attention to that more military mindset.
Yeah, the military is like a really unique part of the Brony community because let's face it, like one of the biggest things that plagued like our fandom in the beginning and still now is just about sort of like that manliness, that adultness. And I don't want to say manliness like excluding women and whatnot, but just like, you know, that adultness, like that, like, oh, you guys are pathetic, you know, or pervert,
yeah, like,
all of those bad things. And it's like, well, it's obviously not true. It's like, so are you saying that like I'm pathetic, like that I can't, like because I watch My Little Pony, that I haven't done anything good in my life? And so
it's a bit disarming when you come at someone saying, well, I'm military, what do you have to say to that? It's like,
oh yeah,
it's a lot harder for them to use those arguments against us, and so we're not trying to in any way say that, you know, it's anyone who is in the military clearly. I mean, look at Dusty Cat, manliest brony in the world. Let's take him for example. He's not military, but it's you know, a lot of people have these negative stereotypes, these insults they love to sling at bronies, and when you have military bronies come in and say, hey, it's like, how about you try saying that to our face and see how well that works out for you?
It doesn't work out too well because we get people all the time on Military Bronies Facebook page, and then you see in the admin group, all right, let's have fun with this guy, and then we usually get that page shut down. Like just last week, we had like 3 pages come and try and like badmouth us, saying, you know, I'm ashamed that you guys are allowed in the military, and I'm like,
yeah,
I became a brony after I joined the military, not before. So. And we got their pages shut down.
So I guess in a sense we are trying to be the defenders of the brony community, at least to an extent. You know,
actually, well, I mean, I may get into that later, but that's actually wholeheartedly what I am. It's like I serve my country, and then this brony thing popped up. It's like that's what it was for me, and that's why I'm a full-scale believer. And like I guess it's a little bit. I don't know if it's presumptuous. If this is presumptuous, I'm sorry, but I really just like. I was never really super big on promoting like me being in the military when I got out. I wasn't super happy with how things kind of went. Don't get me wrong. I mean, everything was fine. I had honorable discharge and all that, but I just was dissatisfied. Like I wanted to stay in, but I couldn't. And so when the brony thing happened, like I found a new set of values. I found a new thing like to move towards, and so I actually like. I am kind of proud. Like I wear like my emblem on the back of my jacket, like to show everybody, like not that you know I'm so great or anything like that, but I do kind of try to set a good example because a lot of bronies are a lot younger. You know, most of them out there are like, you know, later teens and you know early 20s. And let's set like a really good example. Like, no, this is okay because these are unique, open-minded individuals that aren't afraid of the world. That's the big thing. I think that's why it resonates so well with military people. But actually, before we keep ranting, actually, we should probably do introductions, like names. Do we say branches?
Sure, why not?
Well, we've kind of introduced ourselves.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, what branches?
I'm retired Army, so I'm a stay-at-home dad now.
Cool.
Sean O'Connor.
Sean. Very nice.
I do have some
Thank you for jumping. You gonna join the Facebook group? I was Marine Corps, Tori Evans.
I'm currently active duty Army, private first class Nathan Ski.
I'm currently active duty Air Force, senior airman, Thomas Spangler. Yeah, it's you know it's.
How do you guys get to leave to come out here and do this?
A lot of hoops to jump through.
Deployment block lead.
It was.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, so one thing you know a lot of people say is, well, why would military guys even be interested in this sort of thing? And I kind of hinted at it before, the similar values, and we just have that inherent connection. But even more so, it's like a lot of the times in the military, you're kind of in this really a little more negative environment, I guess is one way to put it.
Aggressive.
Aggressive is another way
It's a
to put it.
very aggressive environment. It's just straight up like, sometimes it's kind of dog eat dog, really, even with your best friends. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you are best friends with somebody you're trying to chew their face off. Like, it's a very strange world. It's kind of hard to
It
explain.
is hard to explain,
Yeah.
but it's so My Little Pony and Bronies especially help to provide a really good balance for us because we don't really want to come home and still deal with that sort of thing. So it's nice to just watch some ponies and talk with some Bronies and have a nice dose of happiness.
Well, I always say in a lot of my panels that I say what's really great about My Little Pony is that it gets away from other forms of humor. It's very simple. It's very basic. It's not politically charged. It's not socially charged. It's not like pop
very
culture or
innocent.
anything. Yeah, it's just straight humor, and military people with because you're in the politics. Like a lot of these things, like you kind of know actually
Yeah.
things that don't hit the news, and so to have something that doesn't go into that isn't socially relevant, that isn't like what's the word, modern day relevant at all. Like it's just plain simple is really, really nice to have. Of course, I wasn't a Brony while I was in, but I know when it popped up, that's what it was for me. I don't know why I look at you.
No, it's fine.
You pick a spot in the crowd, and that's you.
I enjoy the
Yeah.
attention. It makes me feel like there's.
You asked a question earlier, that's why.
Yeah.
Actually, I have another. That's
Sure, go ahead.
Um,
If anyone has any questions, just put your hand up and we'll.
Because you guys mentioned that My Little Pony has this, what you see is just kind of a continuation of the values that you see in the military. Maybe, do you think it could be taken a bit further and say that's maybe a continuation, maybe even getting back to the old American values in our society, these core values of being able to depend on each other, being able to work together you go back to honesty, integrity, that's even outside of the military, especially in the military, but outside of the military as well. In the workplace, it is absolutely core. Things, well, okay, I guess you can't say generosity in our current
Actually,
situation, but
honesty is a good. No, you're very much right. Honesty is like a big thing in the military because it's like integrity. It's like saying things and being honest about them happening will really only hurt you. It's like, thank you for being honest. No. And now we punish you, and it's like, why did I even say anything?
Well,
So
there
it's
is
really
that, but especially in my job, honesty is extremely important because I am an aircraft maintainer. If I lie
You do?
about if I lie about my maintenance, pilots will die.
Yeah.
And so every time they go up, it is on me to make sure that I did that 100%. And there's like a whole system to make sure that I did my work to spec, honestly. Yeah, to that. But to
If
answer-
you don't know about planes, like it's not just a bolt being out of place, it's the pins that hold in those bolts. One pin being gone will take down an entire plane.
helicopter.
It's possible.
Oh, I'm sorry, helicopter, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
But
similar, which is
it's,
even more sensitive.
it's serious, yeah, it's serious. You cannot ever make a mistake. So,
I think you make a very good point. I hadn't really thought about that before. Return to these old, very, these mutually agreeable values where everyone can look at that and say, that's a good thing. Trustworthiness. Yeah, everyone can look at that and say that's a good thing. Is it something that's really a lot of people think is prevalent in our society today? Probably not, because it's unfortunately you are suspicious of people, and that's because so many people are trying to scam you. They're only looking out for number one, and it's just these. My Little Pony is, what I think a lot of people would like society maybe to be a bit more going towards, rather than this sort of only looking out for yourself, doing whatever it takes to get on top. And I think that's what people like about Bronies. Yeah, sure, every now and again, there's a bit of fandom, drama, and there's a bit of competition within it, but it's so much less pronounced than it is in our actual society, that it is still a welcome break.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that, you might not know someone, like personally ever, but you know that they're a Brony. I've seen more trust from two complete strangers that are Bronies than people that have known each other for years. It's for example, I know that I can go to pretty much every major post in the United States and beyond and have people there to help me and welcome me because they're a part of the Brony community. I've done so myself with the people up at Fort Campbell. Screaming Eagles Bronies. They're a good amount of us, and we make sure to like track incoming arrivals, Bronies, whatever, and make them feel as welcome as possible. Help them out. We don't know these people. We've never met them before. We just know a name and perhaps a car make or whatever, and then we just go find them, and then we just have instantly something in common to talk about. We trust each other, and it's just a wonderful thing. I've seen much more trust in the Brony community, more good, like just general good than I have in society. So yes, I do think that this whole thing is a good thing to help bring all those good values back.
And interesting. Well, actually, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Semper. You run the military Bronies Facebook. I just want to hear your opinion on awesome shit like Drill Sergeant said.
So the question was, what is his opinion on
The page awesome.
the awesome things Drill Sergeants say? Let's just
awesome. That ASM DSS.
Yeah.
That page has some.
we have
Has some.
question.
Yeah, we do. We have a drill sergeant and a drill instructor, but that's beside the point. That page, well, I do find it funny sometimes. It's cool. They rag on Bronies a little bit sometimes, big whoop, whatever. They do some genuine good with their help with the Wounded Warrior projects and their Battle in Distress program. They help out with Battle in Distress. I know for a fact that one night, single-handedly, that page and its admins and its members saved the life of a soldier that was contemplating suicide by going out. People were instantly supportive. Fans from the Facebook page went to go find this person. An admin notified that soldier's chain of command. They got everyone rolling. They didn't have a location. This guy, he was moving around. They locked in his location using some technical stuff like cell phone, whatever, triangulating. It was crazy.
Fancy.
They found him. They found him. His lieutenants and everything saved him, talked him down, and that spawned a whole thing where they created this program along with the Battle and Distress thing that they started having they had operators constantly waiting for people to say, hey, my buddy's contemplating suicide. Here's his info. Here's where he is. Send people to help, and they have like chaplains and whatnot on call 24/7. It's great. That's great, But generally, there's a lot of just fresh out of basic privates and whatnot who are going like, back in basic training. It's cool. It's stupid and great at the same time.
Well, we got some very fun stories from some of our drill sergeants that are military Bronies. Tweet. He goes
Story time.
He goes by Tweak on our website, Pop Equestria.
He's also known as Jake the Army guy.
On FinFiction, if you read FinFiction.
And on YouTube.
And on.
He does metal covers.
Oh yeah, I forgot he has YouTube. But he has one story, one of his favorite stories.
Which one? Private Fluttershy or Private Applejack?
Well, those are both good ones. But Private Fluttershy was one as one point.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I remember this.
So you heard this story.
Yeah.
So, long and short of it, there was this, when you're leading the chow, you're supposed to sound off, you're supposed to give your count. And this one guy said it really, really quietly. And so, yeah, 7 drill sergeant. And he's like, whoa, hold up there.
I heard this story.
Use your boy bits and sound the hell off. Yeah, pretty much. And so you said 7 drill sergeant, he goes, louder. 7 drill sergeant, louder. And he goes, 7, he goes, yay. Or, he does the whole Rainbow Dash scene. And it's, and for a second, he said his brain broke as he just contemplated what was going on.
Well, I remember he said, in his mind, he was thinking about the episode, and that's why he was going, louder, because he was thinking about Rainbow Dash, and then the private was like, yay.
And he just blinked for a second. He's like, you are now my new favorite private forever. Now get down and beat your face. And for the rest of basic, he was known as Private Fluttershy.
I asked him how.
was true.
No, it's 100%
It's 100% true.
That was actually my next question.
Oh yeah, no, he's in
this
our
is
group
legit.
Semper Filly. I haven't really talked to him, but I've chatted with him a few times.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But
crossover.
I asked him about like where is private Fluttershy, and he was actually kind of worried about it because he said he went to a unit where it wasn't very brony friendly.
It's in Fort
I
Benning.
think dealing with some people here is kind of bad if they're not super into the whole brony thing.
Well, it's not Fort
Infantry
Benning.
could probably be worse.
Fort Benning, home of the infantry.
Oh,
Just saying, you know, they're a bunch of.
So,
Well, we have some
It's probably
infantry,
really difficult.
military bronies. We see them at conventions. And you know what?
I'd make
Sir,
fun
you
of
are distracting me. You look like you're military. Yeah, you have the cut and everything.
Yeah, I'm military.
So what branch of service are you in?
I'm a lieutenant in the Army.
Really?
Yeah.
Fresh. How long have you been in LT? Did you just commission or?
No,
Would you like to come up?
commissioned for about. What's up?
would you like to come
Do you
on?
want to come up?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, an LT? We have to stand.
We can make room.
Ponies don't have ranks.
No,
No, we
we
have to all the way at the right. Remember, military order of precedence.
I think you're the first officer I've even heard of.
No.
No.
Oh no.
We have a major.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And we have a couple. We have another LT.
I'm not actually
They're-
on the
they're all-
military sites like all that often. I just run around and I'm really very supportive.
Second or
of
first?
military bronies.
Second.
So, pretty
They're all
recent
in
commissioning
the
event, huh?
I've been commissioned for about a year, and I've been at Fort Polk for about 6 months.
Now I'm curious.
Who's friends again?
Army.
ROTC, West Point, OTS.
I applied to West Point
Okay.
and then got a very nice rejection letter. That, well, what they said was, you meet all of our academic requirements, but we filled up for the year, so we'll give you a ROTC scholarship. And I was like,
That works.
for me. So I actually got to stay close to home and have like half and half military or civilian
Yeah, it's
lifestyle.
You gotten balled up yet, sir?
What's up?
You gotten balled up yet by your unit?
No.
so. I'm just curious.
That's.
How long have you been in running?
It was probably when I was still in college, so I was in ROTC,
Okay.
and it was probably my junior year of college. So, yeah,
About
I was
two
I was
years
actually
ago or so?
yeah, roughly. I was in ROTC before I, got into the fandom and all that. So, but believe me, that was weird when I watched the first episode, and I'm like,
This is legitimately good.
No,
yeah.
well, not just that, but it was like 5 episodes later, I'm like, oh hell.
I'm one of them.
And well, it was almost like every night on my iPod on YouTube after everybody's asleep. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
essentially how.
That's essentially how a lot of military bronies do it. It's very secretive at first, and then eventually you become more comfortable.
Yeah, that bothers me a little bit. Like, it bothers me that military bronies happen. Like, they become bronies and then they immediately keep it super duper close to their chest instead of going out to, online to go find us.
Well, yeah, actually.
Well, that happened for a week, and then I overdosed. I honest to God overdosed on My Little Pony because I was sucking down all the episodes. After I'd seen every episode, I was sucking down all the fan art, and I was just absorbing all this pony, and then I found this video.
Pony.
I found this video every single episode from season 1
At once.
And I got 5 minutes into it, and I swear to you, I could see everything that was happening. And I just slammed the space bar, and I didn't think about My Little Pony for a week. And then I finally remembered, like, oh yeah, and then I was just out, like, I'm a brony, I don't give a crap.
Yeah, so. This is a bit of a self-centered question. Have you heard of any of our organizations at all?
I'm pretty sure I'm on Fiesta Equestria.
On the forums?
What's your
Yeah,
name?
well, Facebook.
Oh, on the Fiesta Equestria
Yeah,
Facebook.
like I don't think I might have joined it or liked it. I'm not very frequent with this, but this is probably my first actual
Convention?
well, yes, one.
Okay.
And then actually being out in public where it's like, okay, I'm military and I'm a brony.
Well, it's like I said, the haircut. I recognize it.
Yeah.
It's
And
hard
the
to
way you were kind of just your demeanor,
I have that lead
you could almost
haircut.
smell it. They're like, you know, you can smell it.
Well, it's, yeah, you
There's a
know.
guy walking down the street like, oh
I mean,
man.
it's like I got the cut too. It's a little messed up.
He got out as a gunny, I know it.
I'm on leave, so.
Anyway, so I saw a question right there.
Yes. I do offshore drilling, and it's a man's man.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh.
offshore drilling. I've heard.
And so my question is to you: how do you even integrate My Little Pony into a man's world?
Oh, well,
I yell at kids and say they're not manly enough for My Little Pony. Like,
Wow.
well, no, okay, I don't. Yeah, I playfully, but no, like straight up, like it's a man show.
I will say this much. I'm a maintenance guy. I am spending all day outside in the hot sun, turning wrenches, getting covered in oil, grease, jet fuel, all this stuff, getting just dirty, cutting my hands up on the engine and all that stuff. So that's a man's job, as some people would say. But at the same time, people in my shop, it is known I'm a Brony. They know it. And they're giving me a little bit of flack for it, but actually they've kind of stopped because they realized I didn't care, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
So I guess when incorporating it into a man's world, if you're just confident in it, if you're comfortable with yourself, a lot of people will just back off because they're doing it to try to get a rise out of you. They're doing it for their own entertainment, and if it legitimately doesn't bother you, a lot of times it's just kind of
Us guys in
just
Houston.
us.
Yeah, us guys in Houston. That's what's great about us is there was, for a while the Houston Brony group was led by a council of 5, and 3 of those 5 were all prior military. So it's like if people would start making fun of the Houston Brony, it's like, dude, you can go ahead and try, but we're kind of scary.
Yeah.
But it's like because we've been through worse. We've been through some stuff, so we don't care what you can say. What are you going to say?
Also,
What are you going to do to me? And luckily, it is kind of like this bulletproof vest. It's like you can't take away my man card for watching My Little Pony.
With all these buttons, I'm sure it is bulletproof.
Yes. they actually. So it's like it's definitely. Like I've known embarrassment, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't
That
care what
is an
you have
advantage.
to say.
It's exactly what you said. You know,
What have you done with your life? What?
Well, it's like we've been through worse. We've been through basic. We've been demeaned and talked down to and all this stuff, and we've gotten used to it. We've been okay with it. So
We've had to burn human feces.
I haven't.
I haven't, thank goodness.
But
Yeah, it's like, oh, I have
Just me? Just me?
yeah, just like,
It's a tough job.
Ran out of
It
fuel.
is. Okay, I got the camera.
so.
It's a crappy job.
But if anyone ever wants to play the man card game, it's a bad choice going after a military Brony. And like I said, my definition of a man is, or a grown up, if you will. I'm not trying to be sexist, but it's basically someone who has reached that point of emotional maturity where they are not trying to please other people. They know who they are. They know and they like who they are, and they are going to hold true to their values no matter what anyone else has to say about it. And so I actually consider a lot of Bronies more mature than the general populace who just goes with the flow, who caves into peer pressure, because to me they're more emotionally mature to be able to come out and say, yes, I like this show, and I don't care what you have to say about it.
Oh, there's something really cool. What I was going to say earlier is I actually found something unique about Bronies that was actually very much close to the military. And maybe you guys will like know what I'm talking about, but if you notice, like when we're in the military, like I don't know, I was a Marine. Marines are obsessed with the question, why did you get it? And I know.
There must be something wrong with
It's-
your head if you're a Marine.
Yeah, well, I know it's every branch as well. Like, especially like, you know, the harder the job is, you know, like snipers. Why did you do it? Like, we're plagued by this. We want to know the hows and the whys. And I noticed that Bronies did that too. If you notice, we love telling like, how did you become a Brony story? Because then Bronies will just ask each other, so how did you become a Brony? And what I think the relation was is whenever you have something with a high level of entry, you know, it's like, it's hard to get in the military. Whenever you have something that's a high level of entry, you're going to have fewer people on the inside. And because you know what you've gone through, like, of course you're going to be closer, you're going to have that camaraderie. And Bronies kind of have a slight military camaraderie because there is a very high level of entry. Make no mistake, just the thought of, you know, putting the social views aside and watching the episodes is a huge, huge barrier of entry. And that's why you see those questions pop up with Bronies. It's just like the military. They ask the same questions, they tell the same stories, and you have that Brony camaraderie. And that's why Bronies are so tight, is because it's not a small thing to become, just like it's not a small thing to get in the military.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like, some people have had easier times because they're more comfortable with themselves, and I guess the more manly you perceive yourself as, the harder it is to become one. I mean, being completely honest, when I first heard about Bronies, when I first heard about My Little Pony and these adult men, and you know, to a lesser extent women, I mean, I see we have one here in the crowd. It was a bit of, for girls, it was like, yeah, okay, I can kind of understand that, you know, again, just because of social norms. But when I heard about the guys, I was like, man, they need to turn in their man cards now. They need to just quit. And I was like a huge brony basher before I became one. And my roommate and I talked so much trash. And then when I became one, I was very secretive about it because of how much trash I talked.
Yeah, that's kind of the same here.
But he knows now, and he doesn't give me too much flack for it. He gave me a little at first, but you know, because we're such good friends,
You're in the military. You
a
get to be
true
fun.
friend.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a lot of.
Yeah.
I do agree though. I think there is a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of parallels between kind of the attitudes in the military and the attitudes in the Brony community. And the biggest one is just that friendship or camaraderie, however you want to term it. So that's probably the most appealing aspect of both, if I have to say so. Yes, question. We got 2 questions. Let's go with, well, you've had a few, so let's go with you first.
Yeah, you guys were just mentioning the idea of like a male social norm, the gender roles, and so My Little Pony typically doesn't follow this gender role. So I guess the question I would ask you guys is, what would be the ideal male gender role, considering?
According to society?
No, just like what would you say is the ideal gender role if you could kind of put out your own gender roles for others?
So what would be like?
Something men do that women don't.
Well, are you talking like basically who would be our role model? I guess.
Well, I'm just
like
saying,
what would
like,
constitute that?
you said that we like the gender role doesn't really want men to be able to express emotion and
Well, yeah.
have friendship like that. So I'm asking, what would you have as an ideal gender role for men? Since since you say the ideal gender role, yours doesn't fit with the current one.
Well, so you're asking us like something about like that we don't have because we're bronies.
No, I'm saying,
No,
You can't really.
This is a hard question.
It's like going
Here-
from one pigeonhole to another one. Like you can't really create. Let's not create another gender role. Let's like.
Well, no, but
break
he's asking-
existing social norms.
But I get what you're saying. You're asking basically kind of what is our ideal.
What would you change?
Well, anyway, has anybody seen the Idea Channel video on YouTube? It's PBS's Idea Channel about bronies. Has anybody seen
I
it?
have not seen it.
Never heard of
Okay.
it.
All right, you guys
I've
all
heard
need
of
to see
it, but I have not
this.
seen it.
It's a fantastic watch. Just go to YouTube, type in bronies, and it'll be one of the first ones. Just a little guy's face. And
PBS,
look for PBS Idea Channel. It's a brilliant series. What they do is they take really deep concepts like post-scarcity economy, like all kinds of crazy things and really high concepts. They explain them using modern pop culture. And they kind of went into like basically social norms and whatnot using My Little Pony. And what the question that they proposed, the idea that they proposed was that are bronies actually changing the definition of masculinity? And the point that he was getting at in the show, and it was very, very well put, wasn't that bronies are performing outside of their gender role. You know, we're not doing feminine things, we are actually changing what it is that men do. The best point he made at the end of the show was that if just as many men do it as women, doesn't that make it just as masculine as it is feminine? So really, like, we are making My Little Pony a masculine thing, just as much as it is feminine. Well, again, it always sounds bad, 'cause it feels like it's taking away from women.
It always
No,
sounds
I'm huge on making sure there's a balance between both men and women. But one of the things they pointed out is, and we all know this, like pink didn't always used to be a female color.
Yeah.
It used to be a man's color. Well, and they also brought up not just men and women, but also child and adult. We think that they're solid, but they're really, really not. They flow all the time. And what was it the quote was?
Are you talking about C.S. Lewis?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
My mind goes to
The
C.S.
performance,
Lewis.
the performance of we base gender roles off of the performance of gender. You know, like women usually perform the cooking, so we base those norms off of that. Well, we are now performing things outside of what, you know, we've kind of established. Like, you know, we're doing things that, like, you're watching a show that isn't within our same group. And again, it's women too. It's also because you have adult women watching a kid's show. That's
Supposedly.
yeah. Again, it's so easy to define it for men. It's a little harder with women, but it is a leap for them too. Because people say like, oh, well, it's easy for women. No, it's not. Actually, like, so if you're a mother, you can get away with it. You say you watch it with your kids, but there are women who are bronies that had to take that same leap.
And they
you know,
suffer that
watching
same
a kid's
ridicule.
show.
Yeah. So, you get what you're saying.
Yeah. But anyway, it's definitely check out the Idea channel. All of their other videos are amazing as well. That's the one thing I will plug like crazy.
But going to your question, if I haven't had personal experience with this, you know, I think our society places a little too much importance on men acting, you know, tough and not showing any emotion. I think that's one. I think it's important for everyone, not just men but women as well, to be emotionally stable. But that does not mean emotionally dead. You should be able to express your emotions, but also keep them to a certain degree in check. You should not be moved by your emotions, but you should be able to acknowledge your emotions, express them, talk about them, get them out in the open, because otherwise if you're repressing them, that's just flat out unhealthy. And like I said, I have personal experience with this. It's not a fun road to go down.
Yeah.
And actually, so My Little Pony brought some happiness into my life and a part of my life that was very upsetting. And nothing so dramatic as I was, you know, any sort of having thoughts about leaving society or anything like dramatic. I mean, but taking a bit of a darker spin on things, I have heard stories from bronies, especially in the military. Every now and again, you will get that story that they'll say, oh, I found a show when I was at the lowest point in my life and I was contemplating suicide. And I was just looking for a reason to go on, a reason to have hope in humanity, a reason to find happiness. And then they stumble upon the show. And they're like, thanks to the show, I'm no longer in that dark place.
I'll give you Matt. That's why I'm a little upset that he's not here. Is Matt here? I think he's pretty public about it, so I'm pretty sure I'm okay. But like, he will tell you, like, it's a beautiful story, and he needs to be here to tell it. But yeah, it saved him. And unfortunately, I don't really have that story. I was in a bad place, but actually, air hockey saved my life. So I was already fixed when the brony thing happened. So it didn't but it's still it really does provide a lot of comfort. There's just something.
There's just pure happiness that comes from the show in this community. Sometimes it's nice.
And it's not just the show either. It's also the brony community as well.
Yeah, it's not really an expected thing for, you know, a lot of people in the public. Their general view of the military is that our two jobs are to kill people and break things, which
Not
is
true.
completely not true.
It's a perception.
Wait, the military goes in and break things? Because I broke things like crazy. I think I set like $3,000 worth of equipment on fire.
So,
in Iraq.
my definition. Okay, I know your definition of
To
the
be fair,
military.
though, that was mostly two things.
My definition of the military is we are there to protect, and I mean, it's kind of like the same mentality the cops say is, you know, protect and serve. It's you're not going out there just to cause destruction and death for the sake of destruction and death. In fact, military people crush, kill, destroy, swag. Military people actually have a lot of us. I mean, every now and again, okay, we get those psychos who enlist, who did join the military just to have the big means to kill. There are those psychos. But they are a very small minority. At least I hope so. But most of the military, because we are put in this position and we are forced to think at length about what our job means, a lot of us have a higher respect for life. And so we understand that, you know, that is a human being. If we are, especially in infantry, in the Army and in the Marines, that is a human being on the other side of your gun. And the only reason you are willing to pull that trigger is because if you don't, he will. And it's a matter of survival, it's a matter of protecting your friend, and it's also a matter of protecting your country. Because you know that guy is an enemy of your country, especially in our current conflict. You know, say what you will, but the terrorists, at least they have said they want death to America. Civilian, military, does not matter who. They want to kill Americans just because they are Americans. And we're not okay with that. So, and unfortunately, in order to save lives, we must take lives. But the military is, we fight for peace. We do not fight just because we like to fight.
Now, there's still jerks, though. But yes, all of that.
So it's,
there's a lot of...
there was this video.
Always a lot of jerks.
Were you thinking of that video when you said that comment? The guy...
What?
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, what?
There was this video that this one guy put on YouTube that was brought to our attention. No, it was some guy who was basically saying,
that guy.
You know exactly
that
what
guy.
Are
I'm
you
talking
talking about the article?
No, it was like DJ Hanks.
something.
It was like
Yeah, he was
this guy
basically
who's
saying,
going like, oh, there's no Bronies in the military.
there's no real
Not.
military Bronies.
No, because
Because
the
any-
military goes in and
Yeah.
he literally, quote unquote, goes in and kills people and breaks things. No one that
That's
can
why
have the mentality to do that can watch My Little Pony.
And he might be right, because those like I said, small minority, I'm very confident when I say this, small minority of the military, where you get those dysfunctional people who oftentimes are found out and then kicked out of the military or thrown into a military prison because they've done something illegal or against the law of armed conflict. Those people, yes, those people with that mindset to go and kill people and break stuff, that is their goal. They cannot like My Little Pony. But that does not mean, that is not the military.
Yeah, that's not all encompassing.
Here's a good question for all you guys. Like, what do you guys think of the
Well,
Colonel
well, okay.
Do you know the Colonel Schlichter
I mean,
article?
Yes, we are very familiar with this, but I kind of want to get his question.
Huh?
Sorry, we're not.
Oh, no, it went beyond that. He wrote an article, like, straight up, and he's a colonel, like...
I wrote an op-ed against that.
He was talking about how Bronies were, like, the destruction of society and all the bad stuff, and he called us
Colonel.
virgins and
Yeah,
things.
Colonel.
But then he separated us from the military. See, like, here's a whole bunch of respectable gentlemen, and here's all the Bronies. And to me, and actually, if you read it, it's how it's worded. It's like he took that away from me. He took away that
he didn't
I
even
wasn't
acknowledge the
military
existence.
because I was a Brony.
To him, I don't think he was like saying there were no Bronies in the military. It's
Well,
he didn't consider the fact that there might
Exactly,
be.
and it was exceedingly, like, you have to read it. I
Yeah.
can't remember why, but believe me, the words.
This
he
was like
said
a year ago, by the way.
horrid.
This article came out
Just
like
'cause-
close to a year ago.
Just because I like My Little Pony doesn't mean I don't do my job.
Oh, plus, like, he was supposed to be like a Christian man, and like I'm Catholic
It is-
myself,
it is
but he
the
was attacking us for being perma-virgins, and I'm like, wait, how dare you? Because I was myself, and I'm like, how in the world are you gonna attack my
I'm not gonna say
chastity
anything.
for something bad?
Anyway,
No comment.
so, your question, sir.
Well, I was going to ask, we've seen the military portrayed in certain ways in like shining armor.
Yes.
In a role, like he's the captain of the guard,
He is.
but he's often not portrayed
Very
really
well.
as captain of the guard. He's really portrayed as Twilight's
Twilight. Twilight.
So, what I was going to ask is, how do you feel about the, I suppose, military role or lack thereof
Well, we
of the role
understand it.
in the
Yeah.
show?
We understand it. It's
There's no lack. There's no lack.
Well, what I meant
Academy
was the
referred
lack
to.
of speaking parts,
Just
the
saying.
lack of interaction, how to put it, of display of the military, other than just standing
Well, I
around.
would actually say that there's a great amount of
More than
more than we would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got like.
No, I'll tell you what I want to see, and people have said that they see it, and I haven't spotted it myself, and actually it's a good thing, actually, if I can, but I want to see more female guards. But people have said that there are, and that you can't really tell, which is good, because there is this kind of whole thing with like uniformity and whatnot, and, I actually told this story like in another panel. There's this statue in Marine Corps Museum at boot camp in San Diego, and it's called the Recruit, and it's just this very basic bust of just like this face. And what's crazy, and I know it doesn't make any sense because had every race imaginable in our platoon, but every single person looked like that statue because it is so, I guess, yeah, and all of that personal is just stripped away, and everybody just kind of ends up looking the same. So the fact that I can't tell that they're a female in the show would be even better. However, I still want to see more female parts.
Obviously.
Yes,
So,
I want to see some definite female
They- I
parts.
think
Female
they have
voices.
to say it over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think somebody almost mentioned it, but you got two instances where outside of Shining Armor, you've got the Wonderbolts and Commander Hurricane, where
Yeah.
Wonderbolts initially, okay, stunt team, and I know they based them off, was it Blue Angels?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blue Angels.
They're basically the Blue Angels.
Yeah, I was like, all right, that's awesome, because that's when I initially saw them. And then when they came around to Wonderbolt Academy, Spitfire's like this combination of a drill sergeant and a CEO of the academy
Yeah.
in a uniform, and that was
Yeah,
the most amazing
well-
thing. And then,
Yeah.
last
It's fine, it's fine. We brought you up here. You can say.
Commander Hurricane with like kind of like the holiday episode, I guess is the best way you can call it.
Yeah. Christmas episode.
Her swarming.
Yeah. Heartwarming Eve, thank you.
And Commander Hurricane, like in armor, everything, hinting at the fact that the Pegasi were like kind of like a warrior race, which kind of hints at Greek mythology. And I was a history major at school, so I love that stuff. It pretty much fit in line. Pegasi are awesome, Pegasi are military. Historically speaking, and they're still currently military with the Wonderbolt, so that's how I got.
Oh, and well, I mean, if you look at their buildings too,
Yeah,
very,
exactly.
very Greek or Roman. And actually, well, the whole show, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, Cloudsville is very, very Roman, was Canterlot is like more medieval Renaissance-y. or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, the military is pretty well represented. I mean, it was interesting. At Big Apple PonyCon, I sat on a panel much like this one, except Jason Thiessen, the director of the show.
I just said Jason.
Came up, Boris. Came up.
Yeah, he was
Jason Statham?
And so he explained that because of course as military Bronies, we watched Wonderbolt Academy. We made a react video that you can see on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But and we like we kind of noticed like certain inconsistencies with it. But I know why. It's because they didn't have anyone in the military comment or have like some kind of like liaison speaking to them about it. But for what they had, they did it remarkably well, and I'm very much looking forward to a Guard Pony episode.
Yeah. But with your question, I understand where you're coming from, because you see parts of military, but most of the time they're like a backdrop. You don't really see them doing too much. And like you said, with Shining Armor, he's more or less portrayed Twilight. He's more or less portrayed as her sister, her brother. Wow. We're not going to Rule 69 right here. No, there's no. Anyway, we're not discussing rules at the end of it.
Anyway.
So, but I get what you're saying. It does seem like there were some maybe missed opportunities within the show, but we don't feel underrepresented at all, because when you consider it, it's like they didn't even have to do Royal Guards. They didn't even have to do Wonderbolts. And it's like the fact that they have even incorporated this into a show that is geared to being children friendly is awesome. So I'm kind of surprised at how much they have done. And when we heard about Wonderbolt Academy, a lot of us got our hopes up. And but we were cautiously optimistic. We were like, oh, it has a chance to be military-esque. It has a chance to be kind of boot camp-ish. But at the same time, a lot of us were like, you know what, they're probably not going to do that. They're probably going to go sports camp style, be a bit more, kid-friendly about this whole thing. But to our surprise, lo and behold, it's kind of like a boot camp episode. And we're like, thank you, because like I said, we were cautiously optimistic, but honestly, we weren't really that expectant of them doing that.
Although Lightning did get away with and give him some attitude to Spitfire.
That would never fly.
Oh, no.
Try me, man.
What did you say to me, Private? I'll have you push the Earth until you push the Earth out of orbit.
They'd say stuff like that. Yeah.
But they're ponies at the same time. I mean, they're a bit friendlier than, drill sergeants, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's that whole military, like in Hollywood kind of thing. Like the military in Hollywood is always going to be a little bit softer, like JAG or somebody, where it's like.
Well, it depends on which military line you're talking about, because then you have Stripes, and then you have Weaver Soldiers and Full Metal Jacket, which are full-on military. And so it's, but yeah, it's.
I mean, like if you ever have military people in a Disney movie, they are a lot nicer. They're
Yeah.
there's
But
an
I think that's
adaptation
reasonable
there.
for a
because
question.
it's a huge leap, and it's really kind of hard to kind of understand. Like I watched some. What was the?
But I mean, the question is,
what was
been at peace for how long?
Yeah, the movie.
They're a bit soft. Let's give it a that.
They got
Fall of Olympus. Don't get me wrong. That is a fantastic movie. Everybody's like, oh, it's just Die Hard. It's like, yeah, but Die Hard's a good movie. You know, and it's like, yeah, it's Die Hard. It's Die Hard in the White House. It's amazing. But I'm watching the whole movie like, that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't have clearance for that. Okay, they would have done that over international waters. There's no way that would happen. He doesn't have authorization.
Any more questions?
Yes, any more questions? We are
sorry.
we are about to wrap this up. Yes. If anyone
I just have something to say because
Okay.
I used to just watch My Little Pony at home. I thought I was like, and some people at my school teased me because I was like, they thought I was like
That's not
really
right.
little and really girly, but I'm not really that girly. And
You
then,
don't-
and then
You
and
seem
then
like
I-
a
and then I
fine
tell
young
them,
woman to
like-
me.
And then and I tell them that there's grown men out there, and there's no problem with that. and you're saying that to me, so don't bother me. And I actually did meet some friends because I said that I was My Little Pony, and now I'm not afraid to say it to anybody.
Well,
even if they're
that's
they
awesome.
don't like
Yeah,
My Little
that's
Pony.
the attitude to have, really. It's kind of like what happened, you know.
So what branch are you joining? List today.
Well, I mean,
So we're all gonna show up at our school, right?
yeah. We're gonna beat up those ponies. But no, you are so ahead
Who
of the
can
game.
bring a tank?
Like the fact that you are as young as you are, and you are already not letting people tell you who you should be. The fact that you are already just standing up.
And
to
you
your
played my game. You're awesome.
So I mean, you are way ahead of the game. So I'm just amazed. When I was your age, not even close to the point at where you were.
She brought her older brother here to see how many bronies there were.
Really?
He doesn't believe in
How old is he?
ponies.
So he's not one of us.
So he's here.
No,
He's here.
he won't admit it, but all the time I
You know what's going on.
watch My
My
Little
Little
Pony all the time, and sometimes he has no problem with it, but like with his friends around, he's always like denying it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even want to come to this convention, but since we were here, he's like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, just be understanding of your brother. He'll get there.
He's an indistinguishable brony.
All right,
Yes,
let's
and
go
it's
ahead.
stable,
Let's
exactly.
go ahead and end this panel. Let's say goodbye for anybody who sees it online. Good evening. I'm Tori Evans.
Saber from Military Bronies.
Spangle with Bob Question, and we've got our two guests here. You can.
I'm Sean O'Connor. I do dabble in Anime Military Association
Really?
and the Operation Anime Storm, which actually gives to DVD videos of animation to units that request it of all kinds of anime outside of Congress, outside of the United States.
Okay.
I met you last year at ACON.
Yes.
Oh my God, I remember now.
And if you know anybody that's in the military and they want to have some anime, and My Little Pony has been requested quite more than once by these units, frontline units.
We're just really secretive about it. Well, not us, but military. Yeah, we're trying to fix this.
Yeah, there's like 15 Bronies in my division.
Let's get the hub to like play the show overseas, like in Iraq and stuff.
Anyway,
Replace all
let the LT say
Yes,
goodbye.
Okay, and I guess just to wrap this up on my cues and shameless plug, I'm an author. I'm working on a story right now. It's called Legacy of the Pegasus, fan fiction. Plug.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
Hit me up. I am in division. You need
It's
to
all
hit
about
me up.
bolts and Pegasus and all that great stuff. So.
All right, we're gonna give him a nice big loud Semper Filly.
Yeah, sure. Cool.
Semper